People pay tens of thousands of dollars to hire these big consultants to come into their company, but yet they don't choose the most valuable consultant, which is your client. Like call your client up and ask them, hey, what do you think of the Dallas brand? Like when you think of me, what comes to mind? And you will get from them their raw opinion of who you are, what you stand for, and what they think. And then you can take it to the next level and go, why did you love working with me? Why would you work with me again? Why would you refer me out to somebody? And you can get so much good info to direct your marketing and what you need to do from a brand standpoint.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Medicare Sales Playbook. I'm your host, Dallas Keithley. We want to thank you first and foremost for all that you're doing for us. You guys have been filling up the comment section on all the different social media platforms we're on. You've been sharing. You've been very kind to us. We appreciate that. And that's why we're here. We want to help you grow your Medicare business one play at a time. And so I want to jump right in. I'm joined today by a very special guest. I've got to know this guy, met him at a couple of different events that Cody Askins has put on 8% and some different things. And man, this is one of those things where I'm going to try to compliment him and it may come out as a put down. I don't mean it that way at all. But I've got to hear him speak over the years, last 2 or 3 years. And every time I hear him speak, I just heard him speak at 8%, just saw him on a podcast with Rob Sevilla and he absolutely killed it. But every time I hear him speak, I'm like, man, that dude is improving immensely. You can tell that he is a student of his craft. You can tell that speaking is a passion of his. You can tell that he studies. He doesn't just jump up there and say the first things that comes to mind. He is actually up there and preparing and willing to help people. His company is helping agents and a lot of other businesses get in front of people. So today I wanted to talk about marketing, and I thought, man, who better than the president of Reminder Media, Mr. Luke Acree. Luke, appreciate you being on with us today, man.
Hey, man, it's an honor to be here, Dallas. I appreciate it and appreciate the compliment, man. That means a lot. I have tried to put a lot of work. I was terrible the first time I was speaking.
I didn't say that.
No, man, I seriously was, though. That's why you got to record yourself, right? In any sale that you do or any presentation, you got to record yourself because you can watch back. And like Tom Brady watches the film, you got to watch the film to improve. So I really appreciate that compliment because it's something I've been working on.
Of course. Well, let's just jump right into that because I believe speaking is a vital part of marketing. And so you saw something that you wanted to do, you did it, you looked at it and thought, I can get better. That took some humility, saying I can better myself in this craft. Why is speaking important to you? I mean, you've got a big job there at Reminder Media. Why do you want to be a speaker?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I mean, ultimately, like to drive any business, it comes down to getting attention. And how do you get attention? There's a lot of mediums that you can use in marketing. There's frequencies of marketing, and we can talk about that a little bit today. I see speaking as an incredible way to reach an audience. And the reason why I think that is because when you're speaking on a stage, there's natural trust built in by the person who's putting on the event. The audience has come to that event because they have trust in that person. So when you speak on that stage, you're getting that association of trust. And why do people buy from you? They buy from you because they know, like, and trust you. So you're always trying to get attention and build trust. And it's almost like a shortcut to being able to build trust. But then in the age that we're in, the age of media, right, where you can do it on social media, you can do podcasts, you can repurpose this content. So in the past, you would speak on stage and you didn't have YouTube or social media and email marketing and all these different avenues where you can take that content because you recorded it and put it out and use it as a blog, use it as an email, put it as social clips. And so I see speaking as a really good way to build relationships with influencers because you meet the other speakers, get natural trust with the audience that you want because you're getting trust association, and then taking content and repurposing it across platforms.
That's beautiful. So you're making the most of every opportunity is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great. So, all right. So today, like I said, we want to talk about marketing, and we are speaking to Medicare agents, a lot of new Medicare agents. And the great thing about Medicare, I read Brian Askins was telling me this stat the other day. We used to say there's 10,500 people a day turning 65. In 2025, that number will actually peak at 14,000 people per day turning 65, which is awesome. As a Medicare agent, it's a great time to be in the business. However, like we've seen in other businesses, like real estate, a couple of years ago, man, everybody and their brother got their real estate license because everybody and their brother was buying a house. Everybody and their brother is getting into Medicare. So that means even with 14,000 people a day, I've been in the business 23 years. I can't remember the last time somebody knocked on my door and said, hey, y'all got any more of that Medicare, So you've got to still work to get in front of people. So I want to really talk today about how can an individual that wants to be in this business, not just for the boom, but for the long haul, how can they separate themselves and use marketing in order to get in front of more people and gain attention?
Love it. I'll share with you that, you got to build a brand, right? It's all about building the brand. If you look at the most successful companies of all time, it's how do you build a brand? Because if you want to get rich, do direct response. If you want to get wealthy, build a brand. So you should be asking yourself as a Medicare agent, how do I build a brand? And the reality is you have one whether you think so or not. Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not there. So whatever people describe you as, so if you're, a local Medicare agent, do your friends describe you as a Medicare agent? Do they even know that? Do the seniors that you come into contact with, maybe it's at your local church or whatever events that you're part of or things like that, do they know you're a Medicare agent? Like that's the first step of building a brand, is letting people know what you do and what you stand for. And there's a myriad of ways to do it. We were just talking about speaking. I think one of the fastest shortcuts, if I was in Medicare right now, like if I got in today, well, I would ask myself this question: who is my ideal target audience and where do they hang out? So if you can understand who your audience is, these people turning 65, well, ask yourself, where do people turning 65 hang out? Where do they spend their time? Who do they interact with? That gives you a key list of like targeting of what you should go after. So a perfect example would be elder care attorneys work with seniors. Assisted living communities work with seniors. So you can like pick up that, oh, wow, pharmacies, seniors go to pharmacies to get prescriptions. There's these businesses that I could partner up with to get my message out in front of my target audience. But then you can then go, well, where do seniors look for their, let's say information? So there are a lot of seniors, believe it or not, on Facebook. So I would not discount social media. I think Facebook advertising is an incredible way to do it right now because you can, get in there and you can target things based upon advertising, stuff like that. But seniors still listen to radio. Seniors still go to the mailbox. And I know this because part of our product suite is a custom magazine. They love receiving direct mail. So you start by going, hey, I'm a Medicare agent. I have a brand. How do I get everybody in my sphere to know what my brand stands for? And you define that. Why did you get into the business? What's your unique value proposition? What do you want people to think when they think of you as a Medicare agent? Then ask yourself, well, who's my ideal audience based upon that brand? Where do these people spend their time? That determines your marketing channel. And then based upon the marketing channel you choose, now you can think about the tactic, how you're going to go after them.
That is great. And I'm taking notes here. I'm literally writing stuff down because you said a couple things here. One, some people may say, you know what? I don't have a brand. I'm just going to go out and knock doors. You're saying what you do and who you are and how other people view you is your brand, whether you like it or not. It's kind of like your character. Well,
yeah, it's just, do you control it or do they control it? Are you controlling the narrative of your brand, or are you letting them control the narrative of your brand? Number one rule in PR, right? PR, press releases, stuff like that, getting ahead of a message. Like watch politicians. You want to always be on the offense. Like the goal of PR is communicate, communicate, communicate. You control the narrative, because where there is absence of voice, negativity tends to fill the void. So like you need to make sure that you're controlling the messaging to, in this case, talking about an insurance agent at the local level in terms of your sphere. So if like everybody has friends and family and people they know, call them up. Hey, when you think Dallas, what do you think when it comes to, what he does? What do you think about? Ask him. Your greatest consultant. But then people pay tens of thousands of dollars to hire these big consultants to come into their company, but yet they don't choose the most valuable consultant, which is your client. Like call your client up and ask them, hey, what do you think of the Dallas brand? Like when you think of me, what comes to mind? And you will get from them their raw opinion of who you are, what you stand for, and what they think. And then you can take it to the next level and go, why did you love working with me? If, why would you work with me again? Why would you refer me out to somebody? And you can get so much good info to direct your marketing and what you need to do from a brand standpoint.
Well, and I see agents all the time ask their client or their warm market for help because, they're trying to get going. And this is asking them for referrals without directly asking them for referrals. Because if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I need help, that tells me that you value my opinion. And now I want to help you because I'm not just saying, okay, write down 5 people you know and love that I could go visit. You're saying, how can I get better? And so You're showing me that you value my opinion. Now I have a desire to see you succeed. It's not just me hoping you succeed. I'm actually rolling up my sleeves and saying, okay, how can I help Dallas get this done? Because he values my opinion and I want to see him succeed as bad as he does. So that's all.
That's such a golden nugget. People have disagreed with me over the years on whether or not you should ask for referrals and how you should ask for referrals, because a lot of people believe asking for referrals is really salesy and you should just do good enough service and create an environment where people give referrals. And I disagree with that because I think just human beings by nature, we need to be told exactly what to do and we're creatures of convenience. So you could do a great job for me and I still don't refer you because I wasn't thinking about it. I didn't know what you wanted. What you're saying there that I don't want people to miss is the power of bringing people into your goal. Because if you think about like weight loss, people always go on these kicks of trying to lose 30 pounds, 20 pounds, and they post it on social. And it's some of the most engaged content on social media is these weight loss journeys. And people are cheering you on. When you share your goal, you allow the audience to be part of your story. And they feel like they're giving. And we all know the saying, it's better to give than receive. So you're robbing people when you don't tell people that, hey, I have a lofty goal for my business. I want to help 50 people this year with their Medicare. As I think of the people I would love to work with, man, if I could work with 50 like you, I know you might think it's crazy, but it'd be awesome. Do you know anybody that you could connect me with? I would love to help them. My business is built off relationships. I'm giving to them. I'm allowing them to give to me. And a lot of people don't do that because they don't want to owe someone something or they don't want to come across the wrong way. It's like, I think it was Ben Shapiro building Daily Wire. He said one of the main ways he built Daily Wire, this huge media conglomerate, is he just asked a bunch of successful people for their help. And he said most people won't do that because they don't want to be in debt to the person they're asking, right? He would ask them because he was giving them a gift, the ability to feel like they are helping and giving. And he said, don't underestimate that power. And I've seen that to be true in my life.
Yeah, and as far as asking for referrals goes, I think it has to be done right. Like anything, you have to do it correctly. You must have provided value before, but when you've provided value and then you go to that person and say, hey, help me, you're exactly right. I love it when now the third part of that is making sure they understand how you help them. When you refer me to 6 people and I go write 4 of them, man, you better get a phone call saying, hey, we got John, we got Mike, we got Stephanie, we got all these people. And that was because of you. And I really appreciate that. That makes you feel good. That makes you feel amazing. And, I tell my kids this all the time. There are people out there that want to see you succeed, and there are people out there that want to see you fail. I don't have time for the people that want to see me fail, and the people that want to see me succeed, I want to pour into them and us build something together. So this
so is good. You do not need tens of thousands of people to be a millionaire in this business. You don't. You need solid, maybe 300 relationships that will get you thousands of clients. If you had 300 raving fans, you would never want for anything, because the average person, this is the 6 degrees of separation. They know 6 people, and those people know 6 more people, and those people know 6 more. Just having 300 really deep relationships with people will just expand your reach, that you will just be overflowing. But what we do, because I make the same mistake, we go wide and we go scream at the general public in marketing, going, use me, use me, use me, instead of going deep with people relationship wise. And you talk to anybody, they know intuitively, this is a relationship based business. You got to get people to know, like, and trust you. But then how we tend to market is very transactional in nature. And there's the disconnect, because it's transactional, because what do you need? You need to write an app. you need to get a commission check. So you're trying to just push product. But if you watch like the greatest brands, they don't just push product. There is a strategy there where they are giving value, they are educating, they are showcasing their values through the charities they support. Like there's strategically what they do in content. I call it the 3 E's of content: education, entertainment, endearment. If you're wondering, what do I post on social? What do I send through email? What do I put on my postcards or my magazine? You need educational content, entertaining content, and endearing content. What most of us do is we do a subset of educational and promotional. And the problem with that is that if you only do that, people tune it out. It's like, when do I think of Medicare insurance? When I need it. I don't think about it 24/7, but yet you're marketing to me 24/7 as if I think about it 24/7. Mm-hmm. If you market to me in a way that also connects with me when I'm not thinking about Medicare, then I actually am more likely to use you when it comes to Medicare. But that's a long-term game. So that's a game that you can't play for the short term. You've got to be playing that game if you want to be in this business for 10 years.
Wow, that's great stuff. One thing you said too, and I hope people have caught this, you gave quite a few examples of, okay, if I want to be a Medicare agent, I can go to pharmacies, I can go to senior centers, all these different things. Yep. None of that costs you any money, right? A lot of our listeners are brand new agents. And sometimes I know new agents can get frustrated because they go to seminars or they go to conventions and they're like, okay, listen, I wrote 23,000 clients last year. I spent $600,000 in marketing, and they turn it off because they're like, I can't spend 600,000. I can't spend 500 in marketing right now. I have nothing. So everything that you mentioned was just getting out there, and you said it, it's sweat equity. It's getting out and just setting yourself apart and doing stuff. So I want you to talk about that, but I also want to talk about a lot of senior centers and places you mentioned. They have agents coming to them saying, how can I get in? How can I talk to your clients? The ones that I see that are successful are saying, how can I help you? What can I do to take something off of your plate? And then the referrals come.
Yeah, spot on. It's better to give, right, and lead with giving, because it's Gary Vee's methodology: jab, jab, right hook, or jab, 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 right hook. And the premise of that is give, give, give before you take. How can you contribute? And, every organization has people. An organization is just made up of people. So that senior center, there's a person who runs things in that senior center. Like that, in these organizations, you're not really going to partner with the organization. You're going to see if you can partner and build a relationship with the person there. And if you can build a relationship with the person there, they'll get you in partnership with the organization. Or at least that's what I have found to be true in my business, is that when I seek to connect with the people and not just the business, that's when I tend to win. When I think about, what you were saying with sweat equity, I encourage people all the time is that the hardest thing in this business, and not just this business, I'm sitting in our podcast studio. We have a podcast, Stay Paid, as you know. And we've done, I think like 600 episodes at this point in time. And I think to myself, 7 years of doing this every week, couple hours a week, learning from top producers like yourself, people who have built organizations. And what's interesting is the one common theme throughout all of them is not the intelligence they have, because no offense to our guests, there's a lot that I'm like, wow, you really didn't know what you were doing. There wasn't a well thought out plan, but you've made it. You've been successful. And it wasn't their good looks or that they inherited the money, right? It was that they did the work. They did the work. Where most people fall down is you listen to podcasts like this, and there's many out there, and there's better people than me, better thought leaders. But the problem that you're going to have is you won't translate this. You're going to be a hearer of the word, as the Bible says, but not a doer. You've got to be a doer, almost even more important than the hearing at this point in time, because frequency creates greatness. Doing the actual marketing, doing the sales will iterate for you faster than you trying to find the perfect sales strategy, trying to find the perfect marketing strategy. Don't sit there and overthink the email you're going to send, overthink the design of the postcard, overthink the social media post. Consistency and frequency is way more important because let alone the audience won't remember, but you can't get good without experience. So no matter how often I think about the podcast, I would have never been able to get the quality that we have today back when we first started because it's taken 7 years. But if I always thought about it and never executed, we all know the result of that. And that's where most people are at. Most people fail in this industry, in most industries. It's because they overthink it. And I think of all my guests, the one thing they did is they just did the work. They didn't get paralysis by analysis. They did it. They just blindly went in and just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And they were taught by experience. And they tried their best to duplicate results that they saw from successful people, but they didn't overthink it. Stop overthinking and actually do the work. Make the phone calls. Go. Instead of overthinking, how do I build a relationship with a senior center? Go try.
Yeah.
And go try 100 times.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so I know one of your passions is marketing frequency. You've mentioned it at least 3 times now. I want to dive into that and just let you run. I'm a brand new agent, right? I'm listening to this. I'm like, okay, Luke, I'm in. Like sweat equity, point me in the right direction. I'll run like crazy. I'm willing to put in the work. Talk to me about marketing frequency. How many times should I be in front of people on a daily, weekly, whatever, monthly basis? How should I be doing it? There's a lot of tools. Can I do something wrong? Let us hear. I want to hear Luke's thoughts on this subject right here.
Yeah, this is a passion of mine because I really feel it's where most people fall down. And when it comes to marketing is they do not have enough frequency. Now, I choose the word frequency specifically because it has a dual meaning. One is the frequency of touch, like how often you are in front of somebody. But the other is the channel. So just like a radio station has multiple frequencies for you to go to the place where you get the music you want to listen to, marketing has multiple frequencies. So the big mistake I see agents make is they think they can keep in touch once a month and they get business. Where the truth is, you can't do too many touch points. I'll say that again. It is almost impossible. Maybe there's somebody out there that's done it. I haven't met them. It's almost impossible to be in front of your clients too much. I was on a panel in Phoenix, Arizona. The guy was doing marketing for Allstate. I forget if it was 36 times or 37 times. They were trying to get, Allstate is trying to get in front of consumers and prospects 36 to 37 times a month. A month. That's what Allstate is doing, this huge conglomerate of a company. I share examples all the time of clients of mine, like Brian Harris. He has 275 touch points a year he's doing. He manages $1.5 billion in assets in financial advising, just a freaking stud. My own brother, Steven, I talk about a ton. He's a top 1% agent in the nation for real estate. He's sold 207 houses this year alone in a terrible real estate market for the most part. And he's doing 200 touch points a year. It is very difficult to do too many touch points. But the secret is, it's not just doing 200 emails. The secret is doing 200 touch points on multiple frequencies. So I often teach to people there's 6 frequencies in marketing. And this is called omnichannel marketing, which is a fancy way to say, hey, I want you in the email inbox because that's where consumers are. I want you in the mailbox because consumers go check their mail. I want you on social media because they're going to be on Facebook and Instagram. I want you voice to voice. Pick up the phone and call your leads, call your clients, talk to them. I want you face to face, client events. If I would tell you there's one thing that's come out of my podcast, Stay Paid, the last 2 years, is that client events has been one of the number one generators for referrals for these top producers, getting face to face. And here's why. Because if you're face to face with somebody, every other part of their marketing gets elevated. If you meet me face to face at 8%, my email in your inbox, all of a sudden it gets seen. My ad on social media stands out because you had an interaction for me. And this just translates not to face, just to face, voice to voice too. If I call you up and then you see my ad on Facebook, like I guarantee you, Dallas, my emails and ads will stand out to you more now that we've been on the podcast together. It's just how the human brain works. So you have face to face, you have voice to voice, you have screen to screen, which is like a text message, a FaceTime or something like that. And then you have social media to be in front of your clients, or what you would call like websites. There's 6 frequencies. Your goal is to have a touch point plan where you are hitting this database of clients and prospects as many times as possible on those 6 frequencies. My brother's at 200, Brian Harris is at 275. Bare minimum for you should be 26. 26 touch points every 2 weeks. You're in front of them on these multiple frequencies. And I'll wrap up with this to get your thoughts. I often share the psychological benefit here that people, they don't quite realize, Luke, that seems like spam. It seems like overkill. Do I have to do that? You need to be first. 76% of consumers choose the first business they think of. So if a senior turning 65 today needs Medicare, the first Medicare agent, company, whatever it is they think of is going to earn the business 76% of the time. So that tells you in marketing and business that you don't have to be the best, you have to be most known. That's the secret. I often share Starbucks doesn't have the best coffee, they're just on every street corner. How do you get on every street corner in the mind of your client? And the key here is being on multiple frequencies with multiple touches because it triggers the frequency illusion in psychology. Everybody has experienced buying a car, seeing that car everywhere. The reason why that is because your brain is getting 100,000 thoughts a day. You can't process them all. So your brain is a master at going, well, what thoughts are actually important? And it's called your RAS system, your reticulating activating system, helps you focus on the things that are important. Well, the frequency illusion is a similar phenomenon. It basically states that if somebody sees you on 2 or more frequencies, you listen to this podcast or watch it on YouTube with Dallas and I, and then you see my ad in an email, or you see my ad on social media, your brain will think you see Luke more than you do. Your brain will register Luke more as more important, and I will come into your purview. Why is this important? Because 76% of consumers choose the first business they think of. How do you get every senior in your community, when they think Medicare, they think Luke? That's the key. Only way to do that is you've got to get out there in front of them as many times as possible. And most people just underestimate. They think they can do 1 time a month, once a quarter, and that's going to be enough. It doesn't even come close. How many times do I have touch points with my wife? I mean, I'm in touch with her thousands of times a year, and she's my closest relationship. If I think of my relationships in terms of scale, my wife and then my family and my friends, like as it goes down in touch, it goes down in value of relationship, right? It's like a correlating scale. The people that I have the best relationships with, I have the most touch points with. So if you want your clients to be raving fans, to refer you like their family, you've got to get in front of them and touch base with them. And there's a whole other strategy and avenue here that you have to tap into on what you send them. And we've talked a little bit about that in terms of content, but frequency, do not underestimate. You are doing too little. If I could get you to do more today, I would do it.
Beautiful, man. That was a college course wrapped up in about 4 minutes there. Let me go back. What were the 6 things? Repeat those.
Yeah, so 6 things. So you got the email inbox, direct mailbox, call it social media / website. I say social because it's the most proactive one. You have voice to voice, face to face, and screen to screen.
I like it.
So those 6.
I'm taking notes here. That is beautiful. Now, the question that I kept coming up with, and I am very guilty of this myself. This is kind of like, bald people can make fun of bald people here. I can talk on this because, as you're saying, like, I'm that guy. Why is it that we automatically assume I am bothering someone? Why do we assume the negative? Is it a lack of self-confidence? Is it a lack of confidence in our business or our product? What is it about us as humans to just say, you know what, if I touch somebody 26 times, if they see me at the Walmart, they're going to punch me in the throat?
Yeah. Well, they might. No. I think it's because it's like nurture versus nature. I think our nurture, like what's happened to us in society is, be respectful, don't ask questions, sit there, like you think of like how we are in society. I think we're just trained that way. And in normal society, that is, there is a certain amount of respect and stuff that you have to go with. But in marketing, you have to cut through the noise. And that's why if you look at what's successful in marketing, like look at the massive brands out there. Like a perfect example, though people might not like it, is look at like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They got attention Now, wrong way, but they got attention, and then they just blew up that attention. They weren't the best product. They weren't why do we even have them? But they got all this attention, and then they were able to monetize the attention. And so the people who tend to win in business are the ones that are not afraid of getting attention. And you have to put yourself out there, and you're tapping into one of the core pillars of ability to do that, which is I believe in what I sell. I believe in what I bring forward in terms of value. And I believe enough, like I'll give a comparison to maybe drive it home. I'm a person of faith. So I believe that, ultimately, if you want to have a successful and impactful life, you got to know who your creator is. And I believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. If I really believe that, and this is what the Bible even teaches you, I need to be unashamed of sharing that with people because of what that is. Like the value of that, I even though I might be annoying to some people, I might come across as preachy to others, and I hope I don't. But the truth is, I believe so much in this message that I'm willing to live it and share it and stand up for it and teach people that your business needs to be very, very similar, if not exactly the same. You've got to be evangelistic about you believe that what you do, it helps people. And you're not going to be ashamed of sharing that with people, and your vibe will attract your tribe. And there are going to be some people that turn away, but to be a successful business, at least from my experience, successful marketing is like a magnet. Successful business is like a magnet. A magnet attracts and it repels. If you're not repelling some people, you're probably not attracting people.
Wow, that's good. I don't know if you've ever heard the story, Penn Jillette. Of course, Penn Jillette. He is a renowned atheist and has made it very clear. But he said, one night I had a guy walk up and hand me a New Testament. And the guy was very kind, just said, hey, this means a lot to me. It's been a great blessing to me, and I would love for you to have this. And he said, at first I was frustrated, but then he started thinking, he said, if that guy believes that if I don't accept Jesus, I am going to die and spend an eternity in hell, why aren't more people coming up and telling me about it? And he said, I bring a great respect for that guy. And he said, he's the only one that's ever done it. So he said, I respect that guy more than somebody that doesn't, even though I don't agree with him and I never will, his words. But he said, I really respect him. So it's having that core of, look, I am here to help someone, and what I do will benefit somebody. And I believe that I can make your life better. And if I can't, I'm going to walk away. So I think that's a huge part of it. Okay. I want to talk about what you guys are doing at Reminder Media. Your company it's different than anything I've ever seen. I don't think that's by accident. So talk about what you guys are doing and how you've set yourself apart in a very loud world.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to share. So Reminder Media is a marketing company. That's my passion. The focus of it is really relationship-based marketing, because marketing is so broad. That's a fancy way to say, I want to give you the best touch points to send to your closest relationships, your database of clients and prospects, to get you known, like, and trusted. Our flagship product is a custom magazine. So the easiest way to think about it is we give the small business the ability to have their own magazine. We've created these magazines that are really high quality, coffee table publications. There's no ads in them, just great content. We brand it to the agent. So our health one is really, really popular in Medicare right now, because the Medicare agent wants to show the senior, hey, I care about your financial health, but I also care about your physical well-being and you living a life and thriving in your life. And so we create this 48-page coffee table publication, brand it to the agent, and we send it to their database for them. And the reason why I think it has stood out and stood the test of time, and we get such great reviews, is because our take is send the senior something of value that's not perceived as salesy, but perceived as a gift. And because it's perceived as a gift, people don't throw it away. And we strategically now place your brand, product, and services in a way for you to be able to follow up and also build mind share, so they think of you when the time comes for AEP. So in the magazine, you have the ability to customize 6 different places. One of the most popular things is the letter. So imagine your client has a birthday, or like we have a client, Don Myers at Valley Brokerage Services. Every AEP, she sends out like 300 or 400 of these. with the letter talking about AEP and what's coming up for open enrollment and what to prepare for. She calls it smothering people with love. Like she wants to smother all of her people for renewal with love so they don't go somewhere else. And especially right now with all the changes that are happening, people are going to be poaching clients and shopping and all that stuff. How do you showcase to them that you care about them, the value? But where it gets good, and it ties back to what we were talking about earlier, Dallas, with the partnerships with the senior centers and elder care attorneys, stuff like that. The magazine has the ability for you to feature local businesses or feature providers. Like imagine partnering up with a doctor in the area and featuring the doctor on the back cover of your magazine, or the pharmacy, feature the pharmacy. Take 15 of these, have them at the pharmacy counter. So when that lady comes in and has questions about her insurance because of her prescription or whatever it is, that pharmacist can just reach down on the counter, grab your magazine, and give it to that lady. And you're giving back to that pharmacy by featuring them. So it's a great way to be able to give before you ask them for a referral. You feature them on the magazine. So those type of things I would encourage people to do with it.
Yeah, it's I've got several agents that have used it. I know Brian Askins has used it. Mike Katka, who we've had on the show, and Mike tells me all the time. He said it's funny. People see the magazine, they're flipping through it, and there's my picture, and then I walk in, and they're like, "Oh, hey, this is you," and it automatically gives almost like a famous vibe, I'm actually dealing with the guy in the magazine. So
it's credibility.
Cool. Yeah, instant credibility. That's right. So, guys, we do need to wrap it up here, but I want you to I want to recap just a little bit because I don't know that I've ever done this, but I want to make sure people are catching a few things here. A few things you said. 76% of the people do business with the person that they think of first. So I want to be the one that they think of first. Number 2, there is a lot of free things that you can do in order to get your message out there. So if no one knows your name, that's on you. The third thing I wrote down is you are building a brand. It's your choice whether or not you're going to control the narrative, whether or not you're going to be the one to say, okay, this is who I want people to see. When they say the name Dallas, this is what I want. And that's up to you. The fourth thing I wrote down here is 300 people. If you could get a relationship with 300 people, and I would even challenge you guys to do this week, see if you can go out and name 10 people that care about your business, care about who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. Make sure they know who you are, make sure they know your goals, and get them involved and see what that does. And then the last thing I wrote down here, educational, endearing, and emotional content is what drives people to you. And it's got to be a nice balance, a nice mix. So there's a lot. I've got 3 pages here, man. So I appreciate this. This is great. How do I get a hold of you?
Would love to connect with all of you. If you're on Instagram, it's at Luke Acree. On Facebook, at Luke Acree RM, so short for Reminder Media. If you want to check out the magazine, you can go to remindermedia.com, request a sample there. Perfect to send for AEP or the holidays, right? Christmas is right around the corner. Don't send a Christmas card, send a Christmas magazine. Even better with the holiday message. But you can go to remindermedia.com and check that out. I really appreciate being on your show, Dallas. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. And tune in to Stay Paid, guys. Some great stuff on there. Great guests. You get this all the time. So yeah, that's good stuff. Well, Luke, thank you very much. We appreciate you being on. We appreciate you guys watching and listening. And man, here's what I want from you. So I'm going to try to get my 10 right now, Luke. Here's what I want from you guys. I need 10 people that want to see this show succeed. I need 10 people who are like, you know what? I've enjoyed the content. I'm going to try to help Dallas out. Here's how you can help. Share, like, comment. I love your comments. All right. Let me know, who would you like to see? Usually there's a chair beside me here and I'm pointing at it, but now I'm just pointing at thin air. But who would you like to see on the show, spreading their intelligence, spreading their advice? Who's somebody that can pour into Medicare agents and make sure they're making their business grow and prosper? I want to know about those people. Thank you guys very much. I got 2 producers back here today. I got Adam, Stefan, and Celine Keithley. My daughter's helping Adam, or somebody's helping somebody back there. I don't know what's going on, but I look good up here, as good as I can, and they make that happen. So I appreciate them. Guys, tune in next week when we'll be back for more with the Medicare Sales Playbook. We appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Get out there and help some people.